Writing an icon with elementary schools.
All right, session number 4. On this session, we're going to be painting all the clothes. So teachers, we're going to need the red paint first, followed by the blue paint. Okay, students, so this time we're going to be painting the clothes, and we're going to start with the inner garment. You can think of it as Jesus has a shirt on, and then he has kind of a jacket or a coat on top. Well, the inner one is always colored red. So I want you to paint it like that. And as usual, I normally start on the edges, and I try and do a very careful job, because this time you're going right up to another color. You don't want to leave any spaces between the color. Go right up and let the two colors touch each other. However, you don't want to cover stuff that doesn't get covered. So try and stay inside the etched lines. If you make a mistake, no worries, that's okay. But do your best. Jesus is wearing two pieces of clothing, an inner one and an outer one. The inner one's called the chiton, and it's red, a purpley red. The reason why it's purpley red is because it shows that Jesus is divine, that he is God. It also shows that he's the king. And it also shows that he suffers and bled for the world. The color purpley red, a long time ago in Jesus' time, was only worn by rulers and kings. The common person wasn't even allowed. It was illegal to wear a purpley red color. But those who were in leadership positions got to wear it to show that they could afford it and that they were very important. Well, we put it on Jesus because he is our king. God is the King of Kings, and he rules over all. So it makes perfect sense for him to be wearing a kingly color, one that shows that he is truly God. It also shows that Jesus was meant to die for us, that on the cross he bled, and that the life that poured out of him also covered his clothes and makes him who he is. That's why we have the inner garment as red. Now the outer garment is kind of like a big rectangular blanket that people would wrap around themselves as kind of a cloak. It's called the himation, which is another Greek word for the outer garment. And this one's always colored in blue. Why blue? Well, if you look around you in the sky, the whole world is covered in blue. So it's a worldly color. It represents the creation, everything that's within. And it also represents us as humanity because we're part of creation too. Now, Jesus wears the red garment on the inside and then would have to put on the blue garment. That shows that he was always God and then he put on being human. That's important for us to know. He's God and human, but he doesn't stop being God when he becomes human, nor does his humanity disappear because he's God. He is 100% God and 100% human at the same time. There's nothing missing in his godness, and there's nothing missing in his humanity. That's why Jesus is wearing blue and red at the same time. Now, you'll also notice that there's a corner of his clothes that is a little bit different. Well, we'll get to that one on one of the next sessions. Now, before I get too carried away explaining things, I should probably make a note about your painting. first do the red part, then do the blue part. Because that way, if there's any parts that are touching each other, the blue is on top of the red. So, keep painting the red if you're still working on the red, but if somehow you manage to finish the red already, you can then wash your brush and then start painting the blue. In most icons, Jesus is wearing blue and red. I have one of my teachers who called these his everyday work clothes. But in special icons, sometimes we see Jesus wearing white or gold to show that he is perfect and glorious as God. For example, when he's on the mountain of transfiguration and he's shone forth with the white light of his divinity, well, he gets to wear white. Or icons where he is conquering death, he's wearing bright white, outshining everything else around him. And when he's a child, normally he's wearing white or gold as well. But as an adult, he's normally wearing blue and red, especially when he's working amongst the people. The Ever-Virgin Mary, also known to us as the Theotokos. Theotokos means the one who carries or bears God. So she was bearing Jesus in her tummy. Well, she wears the exact opposite of what Jesus wears. Jesus has red on the inside and blue on top. Well, Mary has blue on the inside and red on top. She wears the colors that way because she's human, who always was human, but through her obedience and love of God is becoming more and more united to him. So she is human, but is putting on godliness. This is an icon of the Mother of God, the Theotokos, and you can see, even though it's a little bit dark, her outer garment is red, and her inner garment, by her sleeve and by her hair, is blue. Jesus, you can also notice, is wearing golden colors. Again, a little bit darker, but it shows that Mary has red and blue, but in the opposite of what Jesus is normally seen in. You might notice once in a while you'll find an icon of Mary where she's wearing blue on the outside. Well, in Western Europe, their iconography changed the language of things a little bit. So they put blue on to show that she is the queen of the heavens. But that's a little bit different than Byzantine or Eastern iconography. And what I'm teaching you here is Byzantine iconography. One of the most important teachings of all Christianity is that God became incarnate. That means he really became a man like us, a human being. Why did he do that? Well, Saint Athanasius says that God became man so that man can become God. And when they say man, they're not meaning just males, they mean humankind. Anyway, are we supposed to become God? Well, the answer is yes, but we'll never be equal to the Trinity. But God himself invites us to be part of his life, to share in his divinity. We have a divine nature that we're supposed to partake in, says St. Paul. We are created to be part of God. We'll never be divine as in uncreated. We'll always be creatures. That means we're always going to be people who were made. But God became one of us so that we can become one with him. It's incredible and beautiful. So as you're painting this icon, think about that. God, you became one like me. Help me to become one like you. Jesus, Lord Jesus, Son of the living God, have mercy on me, a sinner. Help me to be with you. As you continue to paint this icon, focus on exactly that Jesus invites us into the life of God, that we are called to be with him in his kingdom, in his fullness. We are called to be partakers of divine nature. That's cool. I hope all your painting goes well, and I'll see you in the next session.